Okay, I will go ahead and get started. So, hi everyone, my name is Sarah and I'm on the training and support team at Hawks. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be walking you through a student training on how you can not only get set up in your account, but also navigate the Hawks platform once you get in there, and how you can go about completing your assignments. So you will notice that there's a Q&A box. So if you have any questions as we're walking through, don't hesitate to go ahead and use that and I will answer those at the end. So getting started here, to get logged into Hawks, you'll want to go to learn.hawkslearning.com. This is, mostly where you'll go to get logged in unless your instructor tells you otherwise. As sometimes we do partner with instructors to have you use a single sign-on through Canvas or Blackboard, D2L, Moodle, whatever system your school might be using. So if you do hear otherwise from your instructor, then you will use that single sign-on link. But normally you will go to learn.hawkslearning.com. And here, if you've ever used Hawks before for another class, you don't need to create another account. You can simply sign in with your same login as you had. But if you are new to Hawks, you can go ahead and start by selecting to create an account. And here you're going to notice that you can go ahead and enter in an access code or license number if you have purchased the materials already from your bookstore. You can enter that in now, or you can purchase access directly from us. And then lastly, you can choose to request temporary access, and you'll have that for the start of the term. About 20 days is around when you'll have that temporary access if you are waiting for maybe financial aid or do not have that access code from the bookstore yet. You can still go ahead and get started in your course. So if I go to request temporary access or just start creating my account, it'll just take you through a few steps to fill out your name, email, your password, and then at the last step is where you will enroll into your specific school, instructor, section, and select the title for the course as well that you're using. So you will just want to make sure that you know which Hawks product you're going to be using and if it's a specific section that your instructor wants you to enroll in. So I'm going to go ahead and get signed into my account. Once you get here and you're enrolled into your section, you'll see your main dashboard page. So if you do use Hawks for multiple courses, you'll see all of those show up listed here. A couple of things you'll notice on the top is that you can view your grades. You can view an ebook for the course, as the ebook does come with the software access. If your instructor possibly does any sort of live chat or discussion boards, you'll find those there. Here are just some notifications to keep you on track of when your assignments are due. And then you have our internal messaging system if your instructor might send you a message through there. And then lastly, you'll have your name dropdown. And here is where you can access our help, live support, or training videos. So we definitely have a lot of great support at Hawks. We have our 24/7 live chat. And also you can give us a call Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then we will answer. Our company policy is in the first 2 to 4 rings. So definitely if you encounter anything and you want some quick help, feel free to chat or give us a call during those times. And then you'll also notice we have our live tutoring available. So we partner with a company called Wisant to offer $40 free on your first lesson. And then lastly here, we have our give feedback, win prizes. So we love any sort of feedback that we can get from instructors and students, so that way we can improve our materials. And if you want to go ahead and give us your feedback at any point, you will be entered into a lottery to win a gift card every month. We do a drawing. So besides looking at your dashboard, here you'll see your course listed, and you'll find that you have what we call a mini to-do list. So you'll see those lessons or web tests, anything that's assigned to you that might be due today, within a week, or due later. And you can click directly onto that assignment in the list to access it, or you can click onto the title of the course or view course. So once this opens up, I will see a more comprehensive to-do list of everything that's assigned to me at this point. And here you can just click onto any of these assignments to jump in. So what I'll do is go ahead and click onto one of these lessons and walk you through what a lesson will look like. So here you'll see we have 3 different modes of the lessons. So we have our what we call learning path. So we have learn, practice, and certify. Learn and practice are designed to help prepare you for certify, which is the homework portion. So again, this is certify where you will actually get your grade for the lesson. But we do recommend taking the time to go and learn and practice so that way you're prepared when you go into that mode. And I'll go ahead and jump into learn and go ahead and show you what this looks like. Basically, learn is going to take those pages of the textbook or your ebook and put them into just a few pages, only focusing on the lesson that you're looking at. So really easy to get through, unlike maybe trying to read a textbook. So it'll take the key terms, definitions, equations, and also give you some specific problems to work through, and also give you example level and lesson level videos that you can play with instructors actually talking through problems or the content that you're reading about. So a good thing to utilize if you maybe just need to reference it after seeing something being done by your instructor in class. And then the next mode is the practice mode. So practice is just that. It's where you can get familiar with the content and start answering questions and practicing the problems. So this is not for a grade. As you'll see at the bottom, you'll have a few different learning aids available to you. So for instance, you can skip around to different questions. You can click try similar and it'll give you different values for the question. As these are all algorithmically generated, you can try the same question type as many times as you need to by clicking try similar. And then what you'll see here is our tutor button, which allows you to pull up some additional help for the specific problem that you're looking at. So what I'll do is go ahead and answer a question and show you what that looks like when you're answering. So here you'll also see we have a keypad that allows you to utilize this as you're going through and answering questions. So I'll go ahead and submit my answer. So here, of course, it'll tell me right away if I got the question correct or incorrect. But then another thing that Hawks does that's really special is that we also give you this explain error feature. So definitely recommend clicking onto this if you get a question wrong, because as you'll see, when I click on explain error, it's going to give me the exact question and numbers that I saw. It's going to say you submitted z to the 48th. It's incorrect. It appears that I had multiplied the exponents instead of adding, as indicated by the following property of exponents. So our software is going to actually take that answer that you submitted and see where you might have made that mistake and let you know what you can do instead to correct that. And again, even provide you with that key definition or equation. So here, this is actually in the tutor mode that I was talking about before. So besides just looking at the explain error, you can click onto either a hint or a step-by-step, depending on the question, and it'll provide even more information, helpful hints to guide you in the right direction. You can also access the learn mode directly from the tutor feature. And then lastly, you can see the full worked out solution. And then going back to practice, I'll show you here. If I go ahead and click try similar, it's going ahead and giving me different values. I'm going to skip around. And if I get to a question and I don't even know where to begin, you certainly don't need to put an answer in. You can always just click directly onto that tutor button and then get that hint step by step, and then learn and solution. So now that I'm going out of the practice mode, lastly is certify. So as you'll notice here, what's different about certify is that you'll see this mastery percentage at the bottom, and it's set to 80%. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second and what that means. But clicking start, again, certify, this is the homework. So when you get into this mode, you'll notice it looks pretty similar to the practice, but there are some key differences. So first off, what we'll do is remove the learning aids. So you can no longer use the tutor or the skip or the try similar. At this point, we want to make sure that you have a good understanding of the material and you can answer these questions and really show mastery in the topic. So that way we know when it comes to taking a test later on, you won't have those learning aids, and we want to make sure that you can make mistakes and learn from them while you're here and it's just in the homework. So you don't have those learning aids. And then another key difference is that we make the lesson mastery based. So what that means is that we give you a set number of questions, and of those you can miss a few and still pass. And by pass, I mean you'll get 100% credit for completing the lesson if you do it on time. So in other words, here you'll see there are 15 questions, and then you'll see over here I have 3 strikes or 3 lives if you play video games. And here, that means that basically I can miss 3 questions and still pass the lesson and get 100% credit. So that means that basically, if you do miss that 4th question though, one more than you're allowed by looking at your lives or strikes, then what it'll do is actually take you from certify and point you back towards practice, but with a custom set of practice questions based on the few questions that you might have missed here in the certify mode. So that is really helpful because it makes you focus on those areas of weakness, and you can then use the learning aids like the tutor and explain error features to really learn from your mistakes. And then at any point though, you can jump straight back to practice and try again with absolutely no penalties. So you have unlimited opportunities to get back in here and try, no penalties, until you reach that mastery level. And that mastery is normally set at around 80% mastery. So definitely learn and practice are going to help prepare you for when you are going into the certify mode. So that way you don't have to maybe come back and do it a couple more times, but definitely if you do ever need to exit the certify mode, as you'll see here, you have by default 3 saves. So if you are in the middle of something or you need to run and do something else, you can always exit and save your work so that way you can come back later. So that is the 3-step learning path for completing the lessons. And then if I go back here, there are just 2 more things that I wanted to point out. So on your to-do list, you can access any sort of lessons or web tests, but then you can also go specifically to the lessons tab to see those. And then lastly, we have our web test tab. So what web test refers to is any sort of online assignment that isn't a lesson that your instructor assigns to you. So maybe a quiz or a test, final, that would be underneath this web test tab. And then here, what you'll notice is the ability to create your own practice web test. So I definitely recommend taking advantage of this. It's basically a way to create your own study guide and practice the lessons that might be on an upcoming test. So you would simply hit the Create Practice Web Test, and then you would give it a name, and then go ahead and just add over any of the lessons that you know your exam is on or that you just want to test yourself on, and then how many questions total. And then you can even time yourself. And then once I hit start, it's going to automatically generate that 20 question test among those 4 lessons that I selected. And then it's going to time me for 60 minutes. So this is helpful because it actually gives you the same view as if you were taking a test that your instructor might have given you online. So as you know, like if you're taking a paper and pencil exam, you can always skip around to different questions and come back. So you have that same ability to use the next and previous buttons to jump around. And then as you're going through and you're answering your questions, I'll go ahead and just put in an answer for one of these. Go ahead and hit next. And then now that I've answered a couple and I use this drop down, you'll be able to see here as well and jump to questions, but also see those that you haven't answered yet versus those that you have. And you can choose to hide those questions you've already answered. So that way then you can just focus on those that you have left. Also letting you know how many you have not answered at the top. And then if you're like me and you might not want to see the clock ticking down, you can always choose to hide that as well. But whenever you're ready to submit your exam, you'll go ahead and just hit submit. This is letting me know that I haven't completely answered all of the questions, but I'm just going to go ahead and say, yes, let's submit my exam. And then it'll go ahead and pop up with our results. Sadly, it looks like I got 0 out of 25 correct. It will tell you right away what your score was. And then you do have the option to review your test and then see your specific answers and explain error feedback. That specifically is going to outline what you might have done wrong on those questions. Or you can choose to retake the exam without having to go back and recreate it. And then the best part, I feel like, is this breakdown of how you did. So it's going to give you this pie chart and then also a bar chart with per lesson how you performed. So if you see maybe a lot of green in one lesson, you know you got a lot of them correct. You might not need to focus that much on there, but this is a good way to test yourself and see what you do need to focus on. And maybe if I have a lot of green, a lot of red, and I got a lot of questions incorrect for lesson 2.2, I can click directly onto the bar chart here, and then it'll actually bring up a custom practice session based on those questions that I had missed on the exam. So that is pretty much everything that you have access to and can utilize as you are going through and completing your course. And then I will go ahead and take a look at our Q&A and see if we have any questions that might have come through that I can answer. So one question did come through, and it was about how much is it to purchase the software. So to purchase, it is going to be a different price depending on what the materials are. So it is something that you're just going to have to go on our website to see specifically for your school and that product, what the price is going to be. But usually I think it ranges around 80 to 100 or something around that range, depending on that product. So just something that you'll need to check out. So question was, if you don't pass the mastery the first time, can you take it again? Yes, you can. So in that certify mode, if you are looking at the at the certify and you don't hit that 80% level, then you can always jump straight back in and try again. But I would definitely recommend using the learn and practice before you do that. So that way you go in feeling a little bit more prepared and can get through it quickly. Another question I had. So it looks like someone came in just a few minutes late and was wanting to know how you get signed into your account and get that created. Looks like there was actually a few of those. So what I'll do is just walk through that again. So if you are just coming in and missed that first part about getting your account created, what you'll do is go to learn.hawkslearning.com. And this is where you can go ahead and get set up. If you have used Hawks before in another course or already have an account, you can use that same username and password. However, if you are getting started for the first time, you'll go ahead and just select create an account. And then this is where you can go ahead and put in an access code if you might have already purchased access from your bookstore or have that code or license number. And then here's where you can select I want to purchase access. And that is how you can also see how much the software is depending on the materials that you're looking to purchase. And then another option though, if you aren't ready to purchase at that moment and your course is just getting started, you can select this third option to request temporary access. And then it's going to be self-explanatory as you're going through. There's just a few steps where you're filling out your name, your school, email, setting a password. And then at the end of that step is where you will see the option to select your school, select the Hawks product that you're going to be using. So the title of your book, your instructor's name, and then your instructor's section name. So that's pretty much how you get set up in your account. Again, I did mention earlier, if your instructor tells you to get logged in by going to your LMS, so if you use Canvas or Blackboard, D2L, Moodle, those are different systems that we partner with, and it depends on the school and the instructor whether or not they have a single sign-on link in their course. But if they do, then you can follow their directions and click on that single sign-on link instead of coming here, as that single sign-on will create your account for you. So it just depends on your directions. So definitely make sure to check with them before either creating your account here or selecting it in your system. Let me see if I have any more questions. So you do have the option when you are buying the software, or let me rephrase that. When you buy the software, it automatically comes with the ebook. As I had a question about buying the book. So I know some schools and bookstores do offer a bundle package where you get the physical textbook, the hard copy book, and then you also get the software code, which again has automatically that access to the ebook as well. So you can certainly purchase the bundle, or you could just buy the software if that's okay with your instructor, because that will have the ebook. And then again, as you saw when I walked through, you have the learn mode, which also kind of takes apart the ebook and makes it a little bit easier to walk through per lesson. Okay, well, I think those were all of the questions that I have today. So thank you all for joining me. And if you do have any other questions or anything that we can help with, definitely feel free to, as you'll see down here and you'll see as you go throughout the website, use the 24/7 live chat on our website or give us a call Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time, and we're happy to help. But I hope everyone has a great start to the term and have a great rest of your day.